What a time to be alive. We are now witnessing all of the Bitcoin Maxis coming out of the woodwork crying about XRP, and they cannot stop talking about XRP as well. And this is quite comical considering the fact that, Bitcoin is still remaining in the number one position. It's well over 100K. And the only thing that they could still focus on is XRP. Well, in this video, I actually want to address why XRP is so hated by these Bitcoin Maxis. And I really also want to address a lot of information on why the Bitcoin Maxis are about to continue to cry. And it's only going to get worse from here. So I hate to be a Bitcoin Maxi today because we have a lot to talk about. Sit back, relax. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So number one, right? We recently saw a new category added to CoinMarketCap and almost every single other site as well, like CoinGecko and stuff. And that's top made in America tokens by market capitalization. Now, mind you, Bitcoin and Ethereum are not on this list. You want to know why? Because they're not made in the US. In fact, we don't even know who the creator of Bitcoin is. Well, we technically do, but nobody wants to admit it. But yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's not on here because nobody's going to message CoinMarketCap and reach out and say, hey, this one's made in the US, but XRP is number one. And this definitely did strike a nerve for the Bitcoin Maxis, which, started to make them really kind of look at this and say, well, we're not on that list, which is a big issue because this is becoming a very big narrative. But XRP and Bitcoin, I mean, listen. When we look at Bitcoin, it's still in the number one position, still has over $2 trillion market cap, still sitting at about 104K or so, significant trading volume, still a big player. But why is XRP the third largest crypto project with almost $180 billion in market cap, 24-hour trading volume, 6.7 billion? Why is this so hated by these Bitcoin Maxis when XRP is nowhere close to $2 trillion market cap? Why is XRP so hated? Well, could it be the fact that XRP has significantly outperformed Bitcoin this entire cycle since going all the way back to the bear market? Maybe. Who knows? I mean, we know that XRP's run is not done, but it definitely has outperformed Bitcoin in a very significant way. I mean, even if we look at XRP right now and we compare this to Ethereum, for example, in the last year, it's very clear that XRP has significantly outperformed Ethereum as well. I mean, XRP has been on absolute fire this entire cycle. And even right now, as we look at the last month, it looks as though XRP is brewing for yet another big move to the upside. Is this why Bitcoin Maxis are scared? Well, it can't just be the price action. So let's look into a few things. Number one, the big thing that I hate about these Bitcoin Maxis is the fact that they constantly push misinformation. For an example, Michael Saylor, the biggest Bitcoin clown, biggest Bitcoin Maxi. I confused my words. SAB 121 has been rescinded, allowing banks to custody Bitcoin. Mind you, the actual summary here, if everyone wants to actually read it instead of reading what Michael Saylor is saying, it's for obligations to safeguard crypto assets. Not just Bitcoin, crypto assets. Again, Bitcoin Maxis making it all about Bitcoin. On top of this, Bitcoin Magazine, one of the biggest, magazine companies out there, one of the biggest, Bitcoin accounts out there as well. They have over 3.5 million followers. Retweet if you don't want XRP on America's balance sheet, Bitcoin only. This is the big problem that I have with Bitcoin and Bitcoin Maxis. I can't support Bitcoin simply because I would be supporting accounts like this. It's a complete joke. This is a complete joke in my opinion. I really don't care about Bitcoin. I've talked about it on multiple occasions in terms of the tech, in terms of, the facts. It seems as though a lot of people continue to ignore them, but it's okay. But Bitcoin Maxis, I'm telling you right now, like when we look at this space, it feels as though they have no idea of what's actually going on here. I don't know if they got completely lost in the whole like Bitcoin narrative, that they just continue to forget to even do a little bit of research. But things are starting to change. And I have to say, I hate to say it for them, it's not about Bitcoin anymore. Well, let's go over here, right? So even some of the larger accounts like Ryan Selkis, for an example, and for those that actually don't know, he is the founder of Masari Crypto. He has over 370,000 followers. Put out a post saying, Brad acted like a drowning victim well before the SEC targeted Ripple, pulling down superior crypto ecosystems to save himself. Wait, superior ecosystems like what, Bitcoin? Huh, interesting. Now, Ethereum, yeah, I could kind of see it, right? One of the biggest players around TVL in terms of the DeFi market, big player around like the enterprise market. Now, he said, Brad is something much worse. Thought he'd changed, but that was foolish of me. Now, again, he's talking about the energy consumption for Bitcoin and Ethereum. In terms of the mining, he said it's massive. It's a massive waste, and there's no incentive to take responsibility for the carbon footprint. Absolutely mind-blowing that this isn't high on the agenda for the growing climate crisis. And listen, he's not wrong. When you look at the energy consumption of Bitcoin and even Ethereum, it's ridiculous. Now, I did respond saying Brad was spitting facts here, while Bitcoin Maxis like yourself pushed baseless claims with absolutely zero proof to back them. Keep crying, though. I'm sure your followers love to see it because, again, most of what we see from these Bitcoin Maxis is absolute nonsense. There is zero proof around a lot of their claims. I don't see anything wrong with this post by Brad. In fact, it's 100% facts. But outside of this, let's go over here to this post. Jack Mallers, one of the biggest clowns in this space, also one that runs a Bitcoin-driven company, so definitely biased here. But we have emergency press conference, Ripple is undermining American prosperity, freedom, and Bitcoin. Ripple is actively lobbying to stop a Bitcoin strategic reserve in the US while pushing their centralized corporate controlled token. We will not stand for it. Wow. 1 million views, 12,000 likes, posted by someone that has over 400,000 plus followers. And by the way, he's reading off of a paper this entire time saying that this is a national emergency. This is a very big risk to the entire market that Ripple is actively lobbying against Bitcoin. Guys, Ripple is not lobbying against anything. In fact, Brad Garlinghouse is not some sort of anti-Bitcoiner. They're not talking about killing Bitcoin. They're not trying to push Bitcoin down the stairs. They are spitting facts on most occasions about Bitcoin, but also he wants to see all of crypto be involved in these discussions because just like Sailor is saying over here, oh, it's just about Bitcoin. Bitcoin Magazine, Bitcoin only. These Bitcoin Maxis don't want anything else to prosper in this space. They think that it's all about Bitcoin. Now, mind you, the number one thing that we see from these Maxis is always the centralization argument, right? Oh, it's XRP is controlled, XRP is centralized, XRP is this, XRP is that. This is why I responded to this. And I said, Jack, with all due respect, you are an idiot because this kid is a complete clown. If you've listened to a lot of his interviews, this is somebody that has not done pretty much any research outside of just Bitcoin. BlackRock is the largest shareholder of the largest Bitcoin mining companies and MasterStrategy. BlackRock is also the biggest Bitcoin ETF player. Bitcoin Maxis sit around talking about centralization all the time, but can't admit that they embrace centralization around the control of Bitcoin. They now look to Wall Street, governments, and banks to pump their bags while talking down on Ripple and XRP. How comical. I won't even begin to explain to you how centralized Bitcoin is by hash rate distribution. Bitcoin Maxis like you are the main reason why I will never take Bitcoin seriously. And yeah, this is true. I will never take Bitcoin seriously as long as there are people like this behind Bitcoin pushing Bitcoin. I've always said that Bitcoin seems very, very sketchy to me simply by the marketing tactics. You have Bitcoin Maxis and influencers clinging on to anyone that can potentially pump their bags. It's the number one reason why Michael Saylor has become such a big voice for Bitcoin. Going back to 2021, well, 2020, 2021, they clung to Michael Saylor to pump their bags. They still cling to him to pump their bags. Now they're looking at SAB 121 and they're saying, wow, banks are going to be able to custody Bitcoin. This is so bullish. Even though they said that this is terrible. They don't want banks to custody Bitcoin. They don't want banks to hold Bitcoin because it's control. But now they're openly embracing this while talking down on XRP and calling it centralized and corporate controlled. Guys, I want to go back to this because there's only going to be 21 million Bitcoin. XRP has 100 billion max supply. Total supply is less than 100 billion because of the burned amount. We get that, right? But the supply for XRP and Bitcoin is much different, right? There's a lot more XRP out there. And a lot of people said that this is a bad thing. In fact, maxis around Bitcoin have always scolded projects for having a lot more supply. Guess what? That supply narrative is actually very, very significant to focus on. Why? Well, because when you have banks that have almost unlimited amounts of money, they can now buy up a lot of Bitcoin. They can now control Bitcoin. BlackRock has a massive balance sheet. They could buy up a lot of Bitcoin and control Bitcoin because there's only going to be 21 million. Bitcoin already priced out retail, which means the institutions are the ones that are driving Bitcoin mostly because it's $104,000 per one Bitcoin. And yes, you could buy fractions of it. I get that. But when we think about it, right, Bitcoin is now a Wall Street puppet. It's now an institutional puppet. Congratulations, Bitcoin Maxis. You openly welcomed in the big players like BlackRock to control your bags. But oh, no, we got to focus on XRP and Ripple, right? XRP is controlled, it's centralized. How comical, right? And by the way, let's go back to September of just 2024. China still controls 55% of Bitcoin hash rate despite crypto ban. Yeah, this was back in 2024, September. Chinese mining pools operate 55% of the network, while U.S. pools manage 40%. U.S. pools primarily cater to institutional miners in America. There it is. Again, catering to institutional miners, while Chinese pools support relatively smaller miners in Asia. But again, the focus here is the fact that we are starting to see control, of Bitcoin through the hash rate power. And you might say, well, the miners don't control it. Yeah, technically they don't. But when you start to have institutions be the main driver of Bitcoin through hash rate power, that becomes very concerning. And it's not just about the miners controlling, hash rate power. When we look at the mining companies, here are the largest Bitcoin miners by market capitalization. Number 1, Marathon Digital Holdings. Number 2, Riot Blockchain. Number 3, Core Scientific. And number 4, Bitdeer Technologies Group. Now, I just want to focus on these 4, right? Because, again, these are 4 main players. Now, you could argue, if you want to look at like CleanSpark, for an example, you could because it's a US based miner. But just going off the top 4, okay? Here's Mara Holdings. Guys, look at the top institutional holders of this stock. BlackRock controls 13.32% of the supply. Vanguard controls 10.63%. State Street controls about 3.31%. Interesting. And then also look at the other players on here. Charles Schwab, Northern Trust, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley. Interesting. Let's go look at Riot, right? Because, we're sure that this isn't a big thing on almost all of these. Oh, wait, Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street, Morgan Stanley, Nomura, Charles Schwab. Like, these are big institutional players. Okay, well, that's 2 of 4, right? It can't be the same across the board. Here's Core Scientific. Oh, BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. You also have other banks on here. Big management companies as well. Interesting. What about Bitdeer, right? Because this is again, mind you, this is a Singapore company. All right, well, BlackRock's not number 1, but it's definitely on here. Interesting. What about MicroStrategy, right? The biggest player, right? They constantly market Bitcoin. Michael Saylor, wow, SAB 121, Bitcoin is going to be able to be custodied by banks. The top holders of this one. We have Vanguard, Morgan Stanley, BlackRock, State Street. Jane Street, Clear Street, banks as well. I mean, when are we going to come to the realization that BlackRock is, they don't have to buy Bitcoin. They don't even have to hold Bitcoin. They are a very big control factor of almost all the stocks tied to the biggest Bitcoin supporting, companies. Oh, and let's not forget that, BlackRock is the biggest BlackRock or Bitcoin ETF management company. Interesting, right? But also, we have over here Bitcoin for Freedom. XRP is a company. Why should a company be piled into a strategic reserve? Make it make sense. XRP is a company. Have Bitcoin Maxis been so caught up in believing their own nonsense for years that they haven't learned a single thing about this market? I mean, it's actually comical how little they know about this technology because, again, it's across the board whenever it comes to any of these Bitcoin Maxis. Oh, by the way, let's go back to Jack Muller's post over here. Wait, XRP is a centralized corporate controlled token, right? Let me remind everyone that every single transaction on Bitcoin that is efficient is through the Lightning Network. Lightning Network was created by Lightning Labs, a World Economic Forum partner company. Oh, this is very comical. By the way, again, these Bitcoin Maxis don't want to tell you any of this because either they don't know it because they're not doing any research outside of just shilling nonsense all day on X, or two, they want to be oblivious to it because it will hurt their bags. That's that biased, idea and that mindset. Surely that's enough, right? Well, no, because guess what? When we look at the main reason why Bitcoin Maxis are so scared of XRP that they have to go out and market against it, because again, this is like everywhere. If you go over on X, you can see it everywhere. When we look at Bitcoin dominance, this thing is about to take a big leap of faith to the downside. It happens cycle over cycle every single time. Very clear path here. Very similar path back here as well. When Bitcoin dominance was starting to break to the upside. This thing is still extremely weak. I've been talking about it for, weeks now. I'm waiting for this big move to the downside to happen. By the way, every single cycle, typically we start to see this thing hovering around like 30-40% or so. I think that this time dominance could make a new all-time low. We'll have to watch, wait, and see on what happens here. But this is the big thing. This is why they are so fearful. Because at the same exact time that Bitcoin dominance looks like it's about to sell off, look at XRP dominance. Guys, this thing is going crazy. And it just hit the highs going all the way back to December and November of 2020. If this thing continues, we're sitting at about 5.11% right now. If this thing continues, it could potentially look very similar back to like 2017, 2018, when XRP held over 30% market dominance. That is almost 50% of what Bitcoin dominance is right now. That is very significant. And if we are going to see something like that, well, XRP's price would have to significantly be higher. And also XRP Bitcoin, the Bitcoin pair for XRP, would have to look a lot more bullish. And so far, this thing has been looking very good. And it's, again, this is the strength momentum of XRP versus Bitcoin. When we look at this, right, XRP already has outperformed Bitcoin significantly this entire cycle. If this thing continues to break to the upside, which right now we're sitting at some, key resistance, we just hit the highs going back to December and November of 2020. If this thing breaks over this, which in my opinion it will, we could potentially be seeing retest of the 2017-2018 all-time high on this chart. Mind you, that is an upside from our current price of over 723%. That would significantly increase the USD pair price. Would we be seeing a $20 plus XRP? It's possible, but I'm looking at 10 to 15. Could it go much higher? 100%. I mean, listen, the environment around XRP is so extremely bullish right now. It's insane. I even said over here that if you think the Bitcoin Maxis are crying now, just imagine what they will do when the following happens. XRP ETFs approved and begin trading. XRP flips Ethereum again. Banks use Ripple's custody solution for various use cases, including tokenization, because SAB 121 was repealed. Number 4, US banks announced they will use XRP. We know that Ripple has confirmed that US banks will be interested in utilizing XRP. Number 5, XRP begins to clear a path to rally against and potentially flip Bitcoin. I do think that XRP does have a high probability of flipping Bitcoin this cycle. It's questionable, but I do think that it will. Utility becomes the main driver of value, proving how ridiculous the store of value claim is for a volatile asset like Bitcoin. Maxis can continue to push baseless claims. However, this space has dramatically changed over the years, supporting the utility narrative even more. The fear, hate, and jealousy on the timeline are all the proof you need to understand what's happening and what's coming. Enjoy the show. And yes, listen, I know that this video is a little bit long. I know that it was a little bit lengthy, but we are starting to see the shift. And I feel like that's exactly why this marketing campaign against XRP is happening right now. But understand the facts. At the end of the day, the proof is all you need to know. Okay? Do a little bit of research, read a little bit, study this market. Don't get caught up in the maxi mentality. Even though I love XRP, I'm not an XRP maxi. Okay? I'm not biased. I just study the facts. I study the tech. I study the efficiencies that, are around the XRP ledger. I understand what's going on with this space right now. The banks, the institutions, they're next. We already know this. Bank of America told us. We now have the regulations that greenlit the banks to actually now start custodian crypto, but also start to move in on this space. And guess what? They don't care about Bitcoin. The only reason why we have BlackRock and Fidelity launching Bitcoin ETFs is because they make money off of people like Jack Mallers. The people that think that, oh wow, Bitcoin's the only, asset that we need. Bitcoin's the only thing that matters in crypto. Everyone's missing the point because Bitcoin is so heavily marketed for the retail sector so that they miss the big target here, which is the fact that the utility projects are the ones that will be the main driver. They are going to be the big piece of the puzzle that everyone is completely missing because of all of the distractions, the noise, the nonsense. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, Nick, thanks for watching. Peace out.